called upon by the moderator and voted by a majority of town meeting voters. All voters should have received an electronic voting device that must be returned at the end of the meeting. If you leave the building for any reason, if you need to leave the building for any reason, please return your voting device to the table at the entrance and ensure that it is not handed to another voter or non-voter. We do not want to delay the meeting if a device is taken or being improperly used. We will test those devices in a moment. All registered voters shall remain seated during the meeting. Please be respectful and refrain from side conversations. Conversations detract from the ability of other voters to hear the proceedings and be able to be fully informed. You may rise to the point of privilege if you are at any time unable to hear the proceedings. That can be as easy as just standing up and shouting, "I can't hear," and I will address it. I am advised to notify you concerning disorderly conduct under that Mass General Law, Chapter 39, Section 17. If you fail to comply with our established protocols, you will be warned by me, then asked to withdraw the meeting, and then removed from the meeting if necessary. Before we begin the business of the people, I have a special presentation tonight, and I ask for your patience, because I did feel it was important to recognize America's 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Massachusetts town meetings were a foundational influence on the Declaration, serving as the primary schools of liberty and a practical mechanism for building the political consensus required to separate from the tyrannical crown. There were many things that led to the drafting and signing of the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia, and those items of significance that took place right here in Massachusetts. We all know about the shot heard round the world, which began the Battle of Lexington and Concord on April 19, 1775. And of course, there was the Boston Tea Party on December 16, 1773. When the British passed the Massachusetts Government Act in 1774 to ban town meetings, it was taken as a direct assault on liberty. In response, many towns barred their doors against British soldiers to continue meeting. Phrases such as pledging lives and fortunes and consent of the governed were penned at town meetings. The meetings acted as they do today, as a place where neighbors deliberated until a common will was reached. Town meetings were, in fact, the ghost writers of the Declaration. The process of town meeting deliberations and votes translated local grievances and a unified philosophy of natural rights. These natural rights informed the aspirations named in the Declaration of Independence we now revere. It caused the spark of a revolution in 1775 and was one of the driving forces of the American Revolution in 1776. I ask you to take a moment and remember that this means all of you here tonight are guardians of the legacy of this spark of a revolution, which began in town meetings over 250 years ago in Massachusetts. Thank you for being here tonight to carry this tradition forward. At this time, I ask you to rise, remove your hats, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Please remain standing after the pledge for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please remain standing as we remember the beloved citizens of Charlton who have passed away during the past year, including those memorialized in our town's annual report and many others. Thank you. Sorry. I would ask you to remain standing. I apologize. As we close out the recognition of the 250th anniversary, I would like to ask Charlton Middle School students Kenzie Hertz and Gwendolyn Kennan to come forward as they sing the national anthem. I would respectfully ask everyone on stage to step off the stage to join the town meeting body as they take the stage. beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. Ad-libbing for a moment. If that doesn't make you feel proud to be an American, then nothing will. We will now review the procedures and protocols for town meeting. Some of you may already be familiar with our procedures, but I ask for your patience while we ensure all present understand the rules and how and when to participate. You will also note I'll be sharing information that is already printed in your copy of today's warrant. Please know that I'm doing this for the benefit of the people at home who are watching this meeting remotely. Town meeting is the legislative body for the town of Charlton and follows parliamentary procedures published in a book called Town Meeting Time. And I have that here. While it is not on the New York Times bestseller list, it is an important reference to keep us all on the same page. Please know that it is necessary for elected moderators to read the book and learn the protocols. I will guide the body as we move forward tonight. As a reminder, all discussion must be directed through the moderator. When considering action on an article, I will call for a motion on the article, then a second on the motion. I may ask for the recommendation of the Finance Committee, Select Board, or other board as appropriate. I will then open the floor for any discussion on the matter. If you wish to speak, please approach the microphone and wait until called by the moderator. Then state your full name and residential address in Charlton. You will need to do this each time you return to the microphone. Once I have recognized you, each voter will have 3 minutes to speak. Please prepare your thoughts and questions in advance. I will be using the timer on my cell phone to monitor this to ensure all voters have an equal opportunity to participate. All comments or questions must be addressed to me, and information shared must be relevant of the business at hand, specifically the article in the warrant for which a main motion has been made. Discussion of any other issue not outlined in the warrant will not be allowed. If needed, I will call upon town officials to respond as appropriate. Please avoid matters of personality. It is not appropriate to refer to other voters by name nor call upon voters to speak. After discussion on the main motion has begun, if you wish to make a motion to amend the main motion, it must be addressed at the microphone and submitted in writing to me. If you can prepare that ahead of time, that would be great. We also have some forms up here that you can follow the guidance of the form. If there is a motion to amend and a second, the amendment will be considered first and will require a majority vote of town meeting. All registered voters shall remain seated during the meeting. Please be respectful and refrain from side conversations. Conversations distract from the ability of other voters to hear the proceedings. You may rise to the point of privilege. Oh, I'm sorry, I already did this page. When I call for a vote, your voting device will be activated. Press the red button, everybody should have a clicker. The red button for no, press the green button for yes. You may press multiple times, but be aware that the last vote, the last time you push a button, is the vote that will be registered and recorded. Your device will show the word OK when your vote has been received. We will use a test question to practice with the devices. So the question, no, sorry. Take your time.
9 people have already voted.
I know, sorry. That was our test. Oh, people are already voting.
Okay, so I guess
It's close, all right, it's close, sorry, that's my fault.
Can you redo it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you can begin voting. Are you looking forward to a 90-degree day tomorrow? Ten seconds. Please stop voting. Voting is closed. Thank you. So we have 49 votes in the affirmative and 56 votes and voted no. The motion is defeated. Let's see if it works tomorrow. So I'm going to begin reading the return of the warrant. Town of Charlton, Massachusetts, annual town meeting warrant. The election was held Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, and town meeting business today is Monday, May 18th, 2026. In the County of Worcester, in the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify the inhabitants of the town of Charlton qualified to vote in elections to meet at the Charlton Middle School. To meet in the Heritage School, Oxford Road in said Charlton on Saturday, May 2nd at 8 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 to 8 when the polls will be open for the annual election of officers. After action is taken on Article 1 of this warrant to meet again on May 18th at 7 o'clock in the evening, Charlton Middle School, Oxford Road, in said Charlton, for the purposes of taking action on the remaining articles listed on the warrant. That the polls for the annual election of officers on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026 will be closed at 8 o'clock in the evening, and that the remainder of this meeting on Monday, May 18th will be adjourned at 11 o'clock in the evening unless voted otherwise by registered voters present, and that the articles in this warrant shall be deemed part of the annual town meeting of the town of Charlton for the fiscal year 2027. So in Article 1, the folks can read that article in your warrant, and that's talking about the election on May 2nd. So Article 1, we do not need to address today here, because it's already been addressed. So we're going to move to Article 2, Town Reports. To see if the town will vote to accept the reports of its officers for this past year, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town accepts the reports of its officers for the past year as printed in the annual town report.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion to be had? Seeing none, I would say, if there's nothing to be said, majority votes required here. All those in favor, please signify by voting yes, and those opposed signify by voting no. Please vote now. Thank you. Please stop voting. There were 109 yes, and 0 no. The motion carries. And I neglected my error. I neglected to ask for the recommendation of the Finance Committee and the Select Board. You can see it printed in your warrant that they both support the motion. Thank you, Mr. Tomasi. Article 3, litigation. To see what action the town will take in relation to prosecuting and defending actions or suits for and against the town, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that town council be authorized to prosecute and defend actions for and against the
Is there a second?
Second.
May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board?
The select board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on this motion? Hearing none, you may begin voting. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 97 in the affirmative and 3 no. Motion carries. Article 4, appropriation of funds for unpaid bills of a prior fiscal year. To see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, transfer, or borrow and appropriate a sum or sums to accounts to be specified at the town meeting for payment of one or more prior fiscal bills not paid due to an insufficiency of appropriation or any other reason, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the following prior year bills not previously paid due to late billing be paid from the following FY 2026 accounts as printed. $41.25 to Kelly and Ryan Associates from the FY 26 BOS/TA expense account.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anything to be said on the matter? Seeing none, please begin voting. Oh, excuse me. Recommendation of the Finance Committee,
Finance Committee supports this motion.
recommendation of the Select Board.
The select board supports this motion.
You may begin voting. About 5 more seconds. Voting has concluded. 105 in the affirmative, 2 no, motion carries. Article 5, inter and intra-departmental transfers for FY 26. To see if the town will vote to transfer and appropriate sums to be specified at the annual town meeting within departmental accounts from one line item of such accounts to another line item or line items of such accounts for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the following sums be raised by taxation or transferred, whichever is indicated below, and appropriated to the following accounts for any purpose for which funds may be expended from the latter accounts, and to authorize the select board, town administrator, or his or her designate or other appropriate town official board, commission, or committees to enter into such contracts, including leases, and to take such other action as may be necessary or advisable to effectuate the purposes of the foregoing vote, each item being considered a separate appropriation. $450,000 from free cash to the fiscal year 2026 snow and ice expense account for snow and ice related expenses.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Recommendation of the Finance Committee,
Finance Committee supports this motion.
recommendation of the Select Board.
The select board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on this motion? Hearing none, you may vote now. Majority vote is needed. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 102 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative. Motion carries. Article 6, capital items and related contracts. To see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer from available funds, including so-called free cash,
and to take
funds previously
other
appropriated
such
to other
action
uses,
as may be
and
necessary
appropriate a
to
sum or
effectuate the
sums to
purposes of
purchase
such
capital
votes,
items
or
and for
take any
service,
action relative
repair,
thereto
improvement,
or thereon.
architectural, construction,
Moderator.
renovation, improvement, and/or
Okay,
other
please.
contracts relating to
I
town
move that
buildings,
the town vote to
facilities,
transfer
and
and
other
appropriate
property,
the following
and
amounts
to
to the following
authorize the
departments'
select board,
respective
the
accounts
chief procurement officer,
for the fiscal year
or
2026
other
capital
appropriate
budget.
town official,
To be
board,
expended for the
commission,
following
or
purposes.
committee to
Each
enter
item
into
being
such
considered a
contracts
separate
or leases.
appropriation, and to authorize the select board or chief procurement officer to enter into such contracts, including leases, and to take such other action as may be necessary or advisable to effectuate the purposes of the foregoing vote. $50,000 from free cash for townwide radio project, $275,000 from free cash for Power Station Road building repairs.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. We have a second. Motion and a second before us. May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board?
The board supports this motion.
Thank you. Is there anything to be said on the matter? Yes. Oh, is the microphone on? I don't think it's on.
No?
That's better. Yep.
Kathleen Walker, Baker Pond Road. Could you, could the town administrator advise us what the townwide radio project is?
Sure, I'll turn this to Mr. Golis.
Mr. Moderator, the townwide radio project is a infrastructure upgrade to the public safety radio system. We had invested a good amount of our test.
There you go.
Is a public safety radio system infrastructure project that we had invested a large amount of our ARPA funds toward doing. It is almost complete. We are appropriating money to make the transition from analog to digital.
Thank you. Is there anything else to be said on the matter? Seeing none, please begin voting. No, did I get I'm sorry. May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee? I'm sorry, we did that, I apologize. Please begin voting now. As a reminder, the green is yes and the red is no on your clicker. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. Thank you. 103 in the affirmative and 9 no. The motion carries. We needed a majority vote. Next will be Article 7, the town budget. To see if the town will vote to raise, borrow, or transfer and appropriate such funds of money as may be necessary to defray the expenses of the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, and as provided by general laws, Chapter 41, Section 108, to fix the salaries and compensation of all elected officers of the town as set forth in the budget voted under this article, or as separately voted by the town under other articles of the warrant for this meeting, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the amounts of money set forth in the columns headed fiscal year 2027, FinCom recommendation, and rows headed for department totals for personnel and expenses in the report prepared and voted by the Finance Committee for recommendation at the annual town meeting on May 18th, 2026, entitled Town of Charlton Fiscal Year 2027 Annual Town Meeting Warrant, Fiscal Year 2027 Town Budget Recommendations of the Finance Committee, May 18th, 2026, Article 7, as most recently revised, except for those items which are covered by other articles, be appropriated for the several purposes therein itemized. $1,250,000 to be transferred from the ambulance receipts reserved for appropriations, $5,000 to be transferred from the sale of cemetery lots, $41,925 be transferred from dam, $15,000 to be transferred from wetlands protection, $95,200 to be transferred from cable, $4,000 to be transferred from building fines and enforcement, $2,693 from fund balance reserve for bond premiums, and $46,813,725 to be raised by taxation, each item marked with an asterisk being considered a separate appropriation, to fix the salaries and compensation of all elected officers in the town as set forth in the budget voted under this article or as separately voted by the town under other articles of the warrant for this meeting, and to fund any unsettled union contracts.
Thank you. And just to be clear, RRFA is receipts reserved for appropriation, just so you're clear. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. May I please have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board, please?
The Select Board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on the matter? Go ahead.
Thank you. Stephen Sage, Lincoln Point Road, Charles.
Could we have somebody from the sound to fix that?
Let me just push
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
There we go.
Go ahead, Mr. Sage.
Are there any unsettled union contracts or other contracts that need to be finalized?
All right, I turn that to the Town Administrator, Mr. Golis.
Mr. Moderator, all union contracts are settled headed into the next fiscal year.
Thank you very much.
I asked earlier to the town administrator this morning because I noticed that in the larger breakdown of the budget that wasn't printed in our packet, that his salary had not been listed as a change from the previous year, but apparently that has now changed. And is that represented in the budget that's in our packet here?
Go ahead, Mr. Administrator.
Mr. Moderator, that number has not changed at all from the number listed.
It's what?
It has not changed from the number listed. It is representative in here.
So you did not receive any increase in your salary this year?
It is within the appropriation. It is within the appropriated amount.
Next, I noticed that we have never really budgeted correctly or a large enough number for something that is kind of vague, which is our snow and ice contracts for the year. And always, the last 10 years, we've had to come to this meeting and make appropriations or take money from either free cash or someplace to pay the difference that was spent. And this year was particularly high because this year was remarkably uncomfortable with the amount of snow we had. I'm just wondering why we don't put a more realistic number in our budget for that amount so that maybe at this time we're not transferring anywhere from $100,000 to $400,000.
I'll get an answer from, again, Mr. Golis.
Mr. Moderator, we typically evaluate that number every few years. We are unable to reduce that number to maintain the ability to deficit spend annually. Every year, if we do increase it, we cannot decrease it.
We cannot increase it every year?
We cannot decrease the amount budgeted, or else we lose our ability to deficit spend.
Ken?
I don't
Yep.
quite understand.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ms., go ahead, Ms. Ashley.
Through the moderator, the Department of Revenue there are certain accounts that you are allowed to deficit spend throughout the year. Snow and ice is one of them. The reason why we keep the budget the same every year is if we were to decrease the budget at all during that fiscal year, we wouldn't be able to deficit spend. So that would mean if we only budgeted 200,000 and there was a catastrophic snow event, we couldn't clear the roads for you. By allowing the budget to stay the same, we can deficit spend the budget in that fiscal year, and then we're either able to raise it on the recap through taxation or come up with it another way. And historically, we've always used free cash to settle the deficit in the end. If we do increase the budget, we have to keep that same budget every year. So it's just practice for most municipalities to keep the budget at a lower number, just so you can deficit spend that number in other fiscal years. So by increasing it, we'd have to leave it at that number every year.
Yeah, but I'm looking at a 10-year history, and it's been underdone by close to $100,000 to $450,000 this year. I just don't understand why we don't raise it in the budget so it's a more realistic number, as opposed to having to deficit spend so much at this time, taking $450,000 out of our free cash.
Right. Through the moderator.
ahead. Yep.
Again, Steph, it is one of the very few accounts that, as Ashley said, you can deficit spend, all right? And so if you, let's say we raised it to $300,000, and we can never then go back in the following year and say, well, this year, we're only gonna make it 200. Once you hit 300, you have to stay there, and then you're allowed to deficit spend above that number, all right? But you can never reduce the 300. So why would we want to set ourselves an artificially high number? We'll just cover the deficit at the end of the year in free cash, as we've done. It works.
Yep.
It does work.
Right.
It just means
Mr. Sage,
that-
Mr. Sage, I've given you more than 3 minutes, so I want to see if other people have questions.
Is there anybody else who wants to come
Does
up and
anybody
ask
else
a
have a
question?
matter to say on this? Okay, yep, go ahead, I'll give another, I just want to
Okay.
keep this clear, we want to wrap this up.
It's just like about 3 questions I had on the budget.
Yep,
Yeah, it just means that every year we deficit spend. This year, it's a lot. Other years, it's less. But it's kind of not letting us know what the real cost of running our town is until this time, when we see that we've had to add $450,000 to last year's budget to cover things. I would like to commend, however, the highway department and the individuals they have hired during this past year, because in my travels through town, I found it very easy to get around town this year, especially since I did not put any snow tires on my car. So you can blame me for what we had. But
thank
the
you,
roads
Mr.
were done
Sage.
really well.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Last question.
Okay, well,
was-
you're going to have to stop, there's someone else behind you to ask a
Okay.
question. That's okay.
Like to move the question?
Okay, we have a motion to move the question, so we're holding on, voting on the town budget. I'm going to do a voice vote. All those in favor to, thank you, second, and all those in favor to move the question? Aye. Any no? No. The motion passes. We're going to vote immediately on the town budget. So at this time, I would ask you to get your voting device and give Karen a minute to get it going. You may vote now. Majority vote is needed for this motion and article. Five more seconds. So please stop voting. 94 in the affirmative, 10 no. Motion carries. Article 8. Oh, excuse me. A motion to move the question passes. Now we will vote on the budget. Did I already? Thank you, thank you. I thank you for your patience, by the way. Article 8, Water Department Budget, Enterprise Fund, to see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer from available funds and appropriate to the Enterprise Fund such sums of money as may be necessary, together with revenue from Water Department operations, to defray the expenses of the Water Department for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator, I move that $115,100 be appropriated to the Water Enterprise Fund. $3,800 is for personnel services and $91,000 is for water-related expenses. That $4,331 be included in appropriations for the general fund for indirect costs and be allocated to the Water Enterprise Fund. That $15,000 be raised from water enterprise fees. That $50,100 be transferred from Water Enterprise retained earnings, and that $50,000 be transferred from the Water Stabilization Fund to the FY 2027 Water Department Enterprise Fund account, to be expended under the direction of the Water and Sewer Commissioners for the respective expenses purposes set forth in the last column below under the heading Water Enterprise Expenses, each item being marked with an asterisk, being considered a separate appropriation.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second before us. May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board?
The Select Board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on this matter? Go ahead.
Mr. Moderator, Joe Spiewak, Sunset Drive. Through you to, I don't know if there's any Water and Sewer Commissioners here, but maybe the town administrator can answer this. I find that $3,800 for total water salaries seems ridiculously low. If we divide by even the minimum wage, that would put it at a very
hold on.
limited number of hours being spent on water at the Sewer Commission. It seems unreasonable.
So at first, I would ask if there's anybody from the Water Sewer Department here that would like to speak on the matter. And then if not, then Mr. Golis, go right ahead.
Mr. Moderator, the $3,800 is half of the stipend for the elected members of the Water and Sewer Commission.
All right, and did you want to say something? You're good? Okay.
So, again, through you,
Yeah,
Mr.
go ahead.
Moderator, to anybody on the dais, that means that there's no employee spending any time on water in the town of Charlton. Within the Water and Sewer Department, excuse me.
Go ahead, Mr. Golis.
There's no professional staff that is dedicated to the management of the Water Department in Charlotte.
That's not the question. I'm sorry, Mr.
No,
Moderator. That wasn't the question. The question was, there are no hours being spent, no salary dollars being spent within the town of Charlton in the Water and Sewer Commission. And I caution folks, when you play games with this number, you are dealing with an enterprise fund. Any hours spent at that Water and Sewer Commission working on water needs to be charged against the Water Department. Otherwise, you are artificially taxing the sewer users for that purpose.
I can see, you're looking for a response. Mr. Golis or Ms. Ashley?
So the staff, through the moderator, the staff that's down there, solely work on sewer items. They'll come, if you come in and ask for a water hookup, they'll give you the fee, and then you're sent to the town of Southbridge to talk to the town of Southbridge to see if you're allowed to connect. Also, the commission members from the Water Sewer Commission are the ones that are dealing with the water that's down there. And that runs through towns. That's why the salary for their commission stipends are split 50-50 between the water budget and the sewer budget.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Is there anything further to be said on this? Hearing none, a majority vote is needed. Please begin voting. Green for yes and red for no. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 91 in the affirmative, 11 no, motion carries. Article 9, Sewer Department Budget Enterprise Fund, to see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer from available funds and appropriate to the Sewer Enterprise Fund such sums of money as may be necessary, together with revenue from sewer department operations, to defray the expenses of the sewer department for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that $1,964,171 be appropriated to the Sewer Enterprise Fund, of which $146,900 is for personnel services and $1,817,271 is for sewer-related expenses. That $73,933 be included in appropriations from the general fund for indirect costs and be allocated to the Sewer Enterprise Fund, and that $1,714,171 be raised from sewer enterprise fees, $100,000 be raised from sewer enterprise privilege fees, and that $150,000 be raised from sewer enterprise betterment fees to the fiscal year 2027 Sewer Department Enterprise Fund account, to be expended under the direction of the Water and Sewer Commissioners for the respective expense purposes set forth in the last column below. Under the heading Sewer Enterprise Expenses, each item being marked with an asterisk, each being considered a separate appropriation.
Do I have a second? Motion been made and seconded. May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
The Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board?
The Select Board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on this matter? Seeing none, we need a majority vote. Please vote by voting yes, the green yes, or red no. You can begin voting. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. Thank you. 93 in the affirmative, 12 no, motion carries. Article 10, transfer of funds to and from stabilization fund account. To see if the town will vote to add funds to and/or transfer and appropriate sums from the stabilization fund account to an account or accounts to be determined at the town meeting, including but not limited to, for purposes of acquiring land in the town, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that consideration of the article be postponed indefinitely.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything to be, oh, excuse me. May I have the Finance Committee recommendation?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the Select Board recommendation?
The Select Board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on this matter? Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Hello. You'll have to give us your name and address, please.
Yes. My name is Christopher Murillo, 47 James Road. I was wondering, for those plots of land that you were willing to use, what are some intentions of what you were willing to use them for?
Sir, I don't, are you on the right, I don't know, this doesn't have anything to do with this, with transferring funds. You're talking about land?
I thought you said the land that you were talking about.
This is a stabilization fund account. We're just voting to postpone indefinitely. My understanding is there's nothing to be transferred.
Gotcha. My bad.
No problem. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have something to say? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by voting yes. And if you're opposed, signify by voting no. Please vote. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. Thank you. 106 in the affirmative, 4 no, motion carries. Article 11, Cemetery Perpetual Care, to see if the town will vote to accept the sum of $18,675 as trust funds from individual persons, the income from each sum to be used for the perpetual care of the Charlton cemeteries, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. This is, I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes.
I move that Article 11 be accepted as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. I need what is the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
What is the recommendation of the Select Board?
The board supports this motion?
Is there anything to be said on this article? Seeing none, please vote now. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 111, oh, it's unanimous. 111 yes, 0 no. Unanimous vote, and the motion passes. That is. Let's have more of that. No, I'm kidding, Article 12, revolving funds. To see if the town, upon recommendation of the Select Board, will vote, as authorized by Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to reestablish and/or establish the following revolving funds, and to authorize the official commission, board, or committee specified in the second column below to expend funds from the specified account without further appropriation, provided that the amount to be expended from such account in the fiscal year commencing this coming July 1st shall not exceed the amount set forth in the fifth column, unless an additional amount or amounts are recommended by both the Select Board and the Finance Committee. I'm not going to read through the chart here. Everybody has it in front of them, and I'm looking for, at this time, a motion.
Mr. Moderator, I move that Article 12 be accepted as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. We have a motion and a second before us. May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board?
The Select Board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on this matter? Seeing none, we need a majority vote. Please vote now. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. (107) in the affirmative, 7 no. Motion carries. Article 13, accept, and, excuse me, sorry about that, I just need to check something. Okay. Article 13, accept easement Stevens Park Road. To see if the town will vote to accept as a gift, purchase, or otherwise acquire an easement as shown on a plan entitled Foundation as Built Plan located at Stevens Park Road in Charlton, Mass. Prepared by Spatial Data and Design and dated May 15th, 2024, and indicated as easement right-of-way, a copy of which is on file in the office of the town clerk. And further, that the town shall appropriate funds sufficient to acquire same or take any action relative thereto, thereon. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to acquire by purchase an easement shown on a plan entitled Foundation as-built plan located at Stevens Park Road in Charlton, Mass, prepared by Spatial Data and Design and dated May 15th, 2024, and indicated as easement right-of-way, and to appropriate the sum of $30,000 for the purpose of acquiring said easement and paying the landowner, and that this sum be transferred from the free cash.
Is there a second? Second, thank you. We have a motion and a second before us. May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board,
The
please?
Select Board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on the matter?
Stephen Sage, Lincoln Point Road. What is the importance of having an easement at this location?
I'll have you, Mr. Golis, answer that question.
Mr. Moderator, the purpose of having an easement at this location is for access to the Glen Eagle Lake Dam for perpetual maintenance.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else to be said? Seeing none, this requires a majority vote. No, excuse me. The majority vote. Please vote now. Green for yes and red for no. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 93 in the affirmative, 20 no. Motion carries. Article 14, amend Town of Charlton bylaws, Chapter 185, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 185-1, Handicap Parking, Number E, to see if the town will vote to amend Town of Charlton bylaws, Chapter 185, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 185-1, Handicap Parking, Number E, by changing the fee from $50 to $100, and second, and any subsequent offense from $100 to $150, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Is there a motion? Yes, please, thank you.
Mr. Moderator, I move that Article 14 be accepted as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. May I have the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee supports this motion.
May I have the recommendation of the Select Board?
The Select Board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on the matter? Hearing none, please vote now. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 93 in the affirmative, 14 no, motion carries. Article 15, the next 5 articles are planning board articles. You'll see a note in the warrant that no vote shall be taken on any motion related to Articles 15 through 19 below until the planning board has submitted a report with recommendations thereon to the town meeting. That documentation is in the warrant that you can see there. And I would ask Mr. Fontaine to come forward as chairperson of the planning board. Thank you. Article 15, amend zoning bylaws, Chapter 200, Section 2, definitions 2.1 uses and structures. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw, Chapter 200, Section 2, definitions 200-2.1 uses and structures by amending the definitions therein and to replace the existing diagram showing required yards, the complete text of each of which is on file in the offices of the town clerk and the planning board, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Moderator, Bill Fontaine, 19 Pine Land, Chairman of the Planning Board.
Thank you.
We move that Article 15 be accepted by deleting the stricken language and inserting in its place thereof the underlined language as printed.
I'm going to give, second, thank you for the second. I'm going to give folks a moment to read through this. There is lots of information here that's included in the warrant. While we do that, let's see.
There are,
May I just comment?
Oh,
There are
please, please.
several articles here you can see from the planning board. We review the bylaws frequently. Most of these are just language changes. We may be adding some language or deleting some language. And they come up for bylaw review and passing at the annual town meeting very frequently. But,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like to get the recommendation of the planning board.
Planning board supports this motion.
Thank you. We need a two-thirds vote is needed per MGL Chapter 40, Section 5, fifth paragraph. At this time, is there anything to be said on this matter? Hearing none, please vote now. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 84 in the affirmative, 15 no, and that does reach two-third majority. Motion passes. Article 16, amend zoning bylaws, Chapter 200, Section 3, use and intensity regulations, 200-3.2B, use regulations schedule. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw, Chapter 200, Section 3, use and intensity regulations, 200-3.2, use regulations, paragraph B, use regulations schedule, the complete text of each of which is on file in the offices of the town clerk and the planning board, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. And there is a quick summary table here that's being referenced. At this point, I would ask for a motion.
The planning board moves that Article 16 be accepted by deleting the stricken language and inserting in place thereof the underlined language as printed.
Thank you.
And the planning board recommends this motion.
Oh, you beat me to it. Thank you very much. Is there anything to be said on the matter? Seeing none, please begin voting. And once again, we need a two-thirds majority. About 5 more seconds, please. Please stop voting. 88 in the affirmative, 12 no. We have reached two-third majority. Motion passes. Article 17, amend zoning bylaws, Chapter 200, Section 3, use and intensity regulations. 200-3.3C, intensity regulations, special cases. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw, Chapter 200, Section 3, use and intensity regulations. 200-3.3C, intensity regulations, paragraph C. Special cases, the complete text of which is on file, of each of them, is on file in the offices of the town clerk and the planning board, or to take any action relative thereto, thereon. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, the planning board would like to move that Article 17 be accepted by deleting the stricken language and inserting in place thereof the underlined language as printed.
Do I have a second?
And the
Motion been
planning,
made and seconded, and I would ask I would ask you to wait for the moderator to tell you I need your recommendation. What is the planning board's recommendation?
thank you, the planning board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on the matter? Hearing none, please vote now. And once again, we do need two-thirds majority. 5 more seconds. Please stop voting. 91 in the affirmative, 12 no. We did reach two-thirds majority. Motion passes. Article 18, amend zoning bylaws, Chapter 200, Section 5, Special Regulations, 200-5.13B, Reduced Frontage Lots, General Requirements. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw, Chapter 200, Section 5, Special Regulations, 200-5.13, Reduced Frontage Lots. Paragraph B, General Requirements. The complete text of each of which is on file in the offices of the town clerk and the planning board, or take any action relative thereto, thereon. I would ask for a motion.
The planning board moves that Article 18 be accepted by deleting the stricken language, inserting in place thereof the underlined language as printed.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second before us. May I have the recommendation of the planning board?
Planning board does support this motion.
Thank you. Is there anything to be said on the matter? Hearing none, please begin voting. Once again, two-thirds majority required. Green for yes, red for no. 5 more seconds. Please stop voting. 89 in the affirmative, 16 no. We've reached two-thirds majority. Motion carries. Article 19, amend zoning bylaws, Chapter 200, Section 5, Special Regulations, 200-5.21, Large Solar Energy Systems. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw, Chapter 200, Section 5, Special Regulations, 200-5.21, Large Energy Storage Systems, the complete text of each of which is on file in the offices of the town clerk and the planning board, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Do I have a motion?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The planning board moves that Article 19 be accepted by deleting the stricken language, inserting in place thereof the underlined language as printed.
Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. What is the recommendation of the planning board?
Planning board supports this motion.
Is there anything to be said on the matter? Seeing none, please begin voting. And as usual with the planning board motion article, it does require two-thirds majority. 5 more seconds. Please stop voting. 84 in the affirmative, 18 no. Two-thirds majority was reached. Motion passes. Article 20, and thank you, Mr. Fontaine, for your help tonight. Article 20, rescind the Stretch Energy Code, Chapter 195. To see if the town will vote to rescind the Stretch Energy Code, Chapter 195, that was adopted at Charlton Town Meeting 10/16/2016. The purpose of the code was to provide a more energy-efficient alternative to the base energy code for both new construction and existing buildings. At this time, I've asked Mr. Lemansky to come forward because he was the petitioner for this particular article. Mr. Lemansky, I would ask for a motion.
Sure. To see if the town will vote to rescind the Stretch Energy Code, Chapter 195, that was adopted at Charlton Town Meeting 10/16/2016. The purpose of the code was to provide a more energy-efficient alternative to the base energy code for both new construction and existing buildings.
Thank you, Mr. Lemansky. Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded.
Mr.
I
Moderator.
want to give, I've talked to Mr. Lemansky ahead of time, and I wanted to let folks know, it was brought to my attention that the date that was printed in the citizens petition is incorrect. The date of 10/16/2016 was a Sunday, and we certainly didn't have a special town meeting on a Sunday. So I've asked Mr. Lemansky to put forward a motion to make an amendment.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, I'd like to amend the motion to change the date from 10/16/2016 to 10/18/2016. And here it is.
Yep, I'll take that, thank you. Is there a second? Second, thank you. Is a discussion on the amendment? Right now, we're on the amendment of changing the date. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Lemansky. And could you give us your address, please?
Robert Lemansky, 157 Sunset Drive, Charlton. Just so that we're clear, we're not doing away with...
Well, we're not on that right now. We're going to do the amendment of the
sorry.
date. That's okay, yep, we're going to hold on that. And I'm going to give you a chance to speak on the
fine.
petition. So
Priority.
is there any discussion on the amendment of changing the date from 10/16 to 10/18? Because that is actually when the town meeting was in 2016, the special town meeting. Hearing none, please vote now. Oh, sorry, I went too fast for you. Five more seconds. Please stop voting. 82 in the affirmative, 11 no. The amendment passes. Now we're going to return back to the original main motion that Mr. Lemansky made with that correction in place of October 18th, 2016. Mr. Lemansky, I'm giving you approximately 5 minutes or so to give us your presentation and explanation on this article.
Thank you. Sure. The change that we're asking for is that when the original article came into play, 2016, within that article, it was stated clearly that the state can go and change or add to the regulation without coming back to the town. Since 2016, there was major changes. Then 2 more times, a total of 3 times they've made changes, and we just have to continue to accept them. So I've come forward and said, look, you're overreaching with the energy stretch code. They're really taking us to a point to where they want to make everything electrified, to where you don't use fossil fuels to heat, and they're making it difficult and more costly. One of the major requirements is that you need a HERS inspector, and what he does is he goes through your plans, he determines what your window UV is worth, how much heat loss you have. He looks at the equipment and he tries to, and usually does a pretty good job, by the way, for $2,000. That's what you don't, again, under regular energy code by the state, that you don't need a HERS man. I'm not, and the fellow that we've used in the past is very good, but like I say, it's extra cost. And it ends up to where you're spending more money on windows, you're spending more money on insulation. In fact, just a couple of years ago, We were building a house over on Blood Road, and my insulator come up to me and said, look, they just changed the code. Normal 2x6 walls is, if the Hearst man doesn't earn you any credits, you need a 2x8 wall. He says, add $20,000 for insulation on your next house. So what the stretch code is well intended, as it intended to be in the beginning, has just gone to the extent to where it's making housing cost more expensive. It's making the process longer and more arduous because of all the multiple inspections that you need. And a lot of, again, small developers are finding it hard to deal with, cumbersome, takes more time, and costs more money. So I thought, why not try to, as the law allowed, it says right in the law, it can be repealed. Why don't we repeal and go back to the regular code in the state of Massachusetts for energy, which has a lot of, again, good ideas in there, but it doesn't go as far out as what the stretch code does. In fact, I think maybe some of you have read the city of Worcester adopted the super stretch code. Now they regret it, and they're trying to
So,
pull it
Mr.
back.
Lemay,
So-
we want to stay with what we're talking about here.
Oh, yeah, well, again, it's stretch code overreach. That's what we're talking about. And the thing is you'd never sign a lease with a landlord to where the landlord can change the rent at any time. What we did was we committed to the stretch code, and they can change it at any time. I yield to
So
Mr. Bellery over there, who just
Great.
who just dealt with the stretch code and is at one time a code
Thank you.
enforcement officer.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Lemansky.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you coming forward. Yes, please, go
My
ahead.
name is Arthur Skip Bellery, 87 Stevens Park Road in Charlton.
Go ahead.
I built my house last year. My permit came just under the new ones, so I was able to build with 2x6s. It still cost me a 2,300 square foot house, $25,000 to insulate it. I'll never live long enough to recoup any benefit from it. But also, I got grandchildren now that are building. They're gonna have to build with 2x8s. It's totally ridiculous. I don't know how they're gonna afford to do that. Even my grandchildren will never live long enough to recoup that kind of cost. So definitely, we're gonna turn that down.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, Michael Tiberi, 27 H. Putnam Road Extension. I'm a 43-year-old, 43 years in the construction industry. Just recently built 2 houses for both my sons in Charlton here. One next to me on 33 H. Putnam Road Extension back in 2022. So I'm just going to make it short and sweet. To Rob's motion, I second it, and these are the reasons why, okay? So the intent back in 16, the state adopting this is a good thing. The HERS Rater is a good thing. I'm for it. But the state has gone way over bounds as far as requirements for insulation, no fossil fuels for heating. The biggest thing I have a concern is, so my son's house in 22 was built under the former code, stretch code, and it was insulated with R20 and R50 ventilated attic system. My new son's house, which was just recently, we pulled the permit before July of 25, which he fell underneath the old code as far as fossil fuels, but the insulation was much more than my other son's house in a matter of several years, right? My concern is with these highly insulated houses that are being built, the issues down the road of improper ventilation and sick home issues are gonna be coming down the road if we don't ventilate them correctly. And that's really not discussed
in these codes. They say about the insulation, but they don't talk about the ventilation. So I'm for backing down and going back to simpler, again, I'm all about change, I'm all about saving energy. And again, if you look at our energy, if everything's going electric, our electric electrons are still coming from fossil fuels. It might feel good, but they still come from fossil fuels until this country adopts nuclear energy. Then you're going to see real change to electricity. So it's make me feel good for today, but we have to look down the road as far as our technology. And again, people processing these laws down in Boston, do they really know the ramifications of what could happen? So I just wanted to state it, and I think it needs to be backed off. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello?
Hello. Nancy Tully, Sunset Drive. I have to admit, when I read this article on the warrant, that I had to look up what the stretch code was, because just to refresh my memory about what we voted in 2016, as has already been stated, we always knew from the beginning when we opted into this that the state had a right to add whatever they wanted to the stretch code. So after a little bit of research, I learned that as of 2026, that's earlier this year, over 270 mass cities and towns have opted into this energy efficiency stretch code, and 58 have adopted the even stricter specialized code. So that represents 91% of the total population in the state. Not 91% of the towns, but 91% of the population. So Charlton voted to opt into the stretch code to become a green community back in 2016, which made us eligible for energy efficient grants. And since then, we've been successful in receiving grants in 2017, 19, 21, 23, 24, and most recently in 2025. Our latest grant was for over $219,000 and was earmarked to fund energy efficiency measures, weatherization, and administrative assistance in municipal facilities, including the elementary school, the library, and the sewer department. So here's my question is this. If 91% of the state's population is allowing the same code, or one that's even stricter, somebody looking to build a new home in Massachusetts is likely going to be subject to the same requirements elsewhere in the state. And we're receiving substantial grant awards to the town for remaining a stretch community. So what's the benefit of rescinding our status? And I know that there's a lot of discussion that's been had about the amount that building a new home has gone up and the costs have gone up, but how much of that is due to the stretch code and how much of it is due to increases in materials, costs of materials, and other costs that are not a result of the stretch code. I'd hate to see the town lose grant money that not only allows us to improve the energy efficiency of our buildings, but also keeps us from having to expend tax dollars on those upgrades, money that could be spent on other critical needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have a question you wanted answered? You're all set? Okay. No.
It's kind of a rhetorical question. I do think that no matter where you go in the state, you're going to run into these same issues,
All right.
regardless of where you're building. But we're getting a big benefit to the town.
Great.
And we're gonna-
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know if Mr. Golis, you wanted to answer. You're all set? All set. Go ahead.
Curtis Meskis, 72 H Foot Road. I am your building commissioner for the town of Charlton.
Thank you.
It is my job to enforce the code, whatever code it is that the community decides that it wants to abide by. I want to point out, though, that there is no prohibition in either code, current or proposed, prohibiting us from using fossil fuels. There is no prohibition from using propane in your home. You do have to meet a score, and it is easier if you don't use fossil fuels, because they incentivize using electric. If we go back to the base code, you have to put a fan in, just like you do under the current code. You have to put an EV plug in, just like under the current code. You have to have your ventilation tested, just like in the current code. If you put a ducted system in, you have to have that ducted system tested, just like the current code. You have to have a blower door test to the same rate of 3 air changes per hour, just like the current code. Under the stretch code, you can use an unlimited shading coefficient for your windows as long as it meets the score. Under the base code, you can't be greater than a 0.4. Your U values for your windows are the same. Generally, to meet the score, insulation in the ceiling in a stretch code is 48. The base code requires R60 in the ceiling. Insulation in the walls under the HERS rating is generally 21. Under the base code, it is R30. Insulation in the floor values is the same. Insulation for basement walls are the same. There is nothing in any code that tells you how thick your walls have to be. You have to meet performance standards or additive standards. That being that you could use a thinner wall section and put a greater continuous insulation on the exterior. So just be careful when you ask to go back to the base code, because the same people that write the stretch code are the same people that are writing the base energy code. And it's almost 1 for 1.
Thank you for your comment. I see someone in line. Go ahead.
Good evening, Garrett LaFrance, 13 Stafford Street,
Thank you.
resident and also a small business owner, a small builder in the town. I'm hearing what everyone's saying about the stretch energy code, and I recently went and got certified for the new building code. And I just wanted to give my opinion that after going through the entire building process from start to finish with the new stretch standard and even the higher standard, the special code, the maintenance on the buildings is less expensive. The electric on the buildings is less expensive. And yes, it does cost more up front, but in the long run, that building is healthier, that building is more efficient, and with electrical costs going up, with oil costs going up, I think we need more efficient buildings. We're not building for today, we're building for tomorrow. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Is there anything further to be said?
Robert Lemansky, 157 Sunset Drive. And Kurt, please correct me, but under base code, there's no requirement for a HERS inspector.
Yeah, you got to go through me to get that answer. So what question are you asking?
Under base energy code, currently, if we were under that only, the requirement of a HERS director is not within that code. In the stretch code, it's there, but I believe it's not in the regular.
So that's the question. Does Mr. Curtis want to respond, since he is our code enforcement officer?
Thank you, Kurt.
Under the stretch code, you have to have a certified HERS rater. Under the base code, you have to have a qualified person to do your blower door test, design your heating system, qualify your heating system, which will probably be a HERS rater. Because I don't know of anybody else out there that's qualified.
So you're saying...
Hold on, Mr. Lemansky, hold
sorry.
on. Hold on. You're okay, thank you. Does that answer your question?
It just creates more, that's all. From the one who signs the permit, who signs the occupancy permit, is the, from what I just heard was you better get the HERS director, because no one else, I don't care if you have a professional engineer, he's not gonna qualify, because he's not a HERS man. And that's what we're up against. And the thing is, look, give us the rules, we'll live by the rules. But if you're gonna go and change the rules every 2 years or 3 years, it's crazy. And I appreciate all the work that lady has done as far as the information, but, you know, I'm not gonna be bought by some grant.
Yep.
And I think that's what they're doing. And the thing is they're just controlling us, and that's not me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lemansky. Yes,
Jean Costello, 34 Main Street.
go
I'd
ahead.
like to move the question.
We have a motion on the floor to move the question, seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we're going to do a voice vote. All those in favor to move the question? Aye. All those opposed? Unanimous. So now we're going to move straight to voting on Article 20 and rescind the stretch energy code. To be clear, yes, we'll rescind the code. No, we'll leave everything the way it is currently. And so please begin voting. Five more seconds. So please stop voting. 41 yes, 71 no. Motion fails. It does not carry. I ask for a motion now to adjourn.
Congratulations, Mr. Moderator. 2 unanimous votes. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. at
I
all.
don't, it's not me. It's not me.
I move we adjourn.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. We'll see you in the fall. Thank you all for being here. I screwed up a little bit.
What are you talking about? You did it.
I was like, thank you. For the first one, he did a stipulation. Yeah.
He's being a little fussy.
That's all right. We'll let him. We like Andrew. We'll keep him.